Welcome Gemini, it's your in-depth weekly forecast for week commencing the 29th of January for the Sun or the Ascendant. The dramatic energy that's been playing out recently has seen a lot of focus on the sign of Aquarius, which suits you because of the air element. You share the same triplicity, it's very enabling and gives you a push to really embrace new knowledge, travel, being more adventurous, and really sharing some of your experiences and wisdom as well, in terms of what you've gained and garnered over many years. And of course what Uranus has been doing over the last 5 years or so has been, in a provocative way, asking you to become much more conscious of the more emotional and psychological part of your life. Since Jupiter moved into Taurus last mid-May, that's been provoking you to embrace issues to do with spirituality and faith through its rulership of Pisces. So the 12th house energy has not necessarily always been easy with Uranus, but if you've been open to becoming much more conscious of what deeply motivates you, definitely an asset. But of course, the movement of Pluto from Capricorn into Aquarius means that the attention goes there, but actually the real hot sign this week, I feel, is Capricorn. And the reason for that is that your ruler Mercury, Venus and Mars, all in Capricorn. In the case of Mercury for its last week in this sign, but Venus and Mars are forging an awesome link to those two planets in your 12th house. The 12th house can be a time of psychological culmination where we get to the end of something, but we gain a lot from taking the time to just reflect, meditate, not necessarily in the formal sense of meditation, but just really let things drift around us and percolate through us. But because they're forging such amazing links to Venus and Mars, you can use those past experiences, knowledge or instincts or psychological awarenesses in a brilliant way, whether it's around a close involvement where you're really invested, perhaps in a sexual way, intimate way, or it could be around your finances. But that psychological realm can feed that devoted area, the 8th house, or where things transform, that Pluto perhaps hasn't always been easy to deal with over those last 16 years. There is one proviso on this, to be honest. If you are born later in Gemini, the last 5 or 6 days, it means that Pluto is still essentially in a quincunx with your Sun. Now, some very notable Geminis share that part of your sign. Donald Trump, Boris Johnson, Xi Jinping, and of course they're all very much in the news. But balancing first house energy, which in sun sign astrology is the Sun, with that 8th house energy, which is not just about us, it's where we're either deeply investing or deeply separating, depends on our unique circumstances. You may still be feeling the force of Pluto in not necessarily an easy way. But what I would say to you is, although Neptune has been really quite tricky in the last couple of weeks of 2023 and the first part of this year in terms of your work relationships, actually Neptune comes back to you in a really positive way this week, forging a great link to Mercury from the middle of the week, and at the end of the week a superb link to Mars. So if you're someone who has great imagination and a gift for connecting to the wider world, in a very sort of instinctive way, perhaps even a psychological or psychic way, this can be a really enriching week. So although Pluto may have been a wrecking ball at times, it could give you something back this week. Could be financial, it could be someone's deep devotion or affection for you. It could be that you're actually making the most of resources and squeezing more from your assets in a very influential way. There is a quarter moon on Friday. That old saying, if we can't please all of the people all of the time, springs up for me. The 9th house, where the Sun and Pluto is, and where your ruler will arrive next Monday, is about freedom, essentially. The 6th house is where we need to be conscientious, more sacrificing, And you could feel a bit conflicted if you're wanting to do your own thing, but another party thinks, well, I don't really want to let that person down. So it could be a little bit of that from Friday. But on Saturday, Venus in Capricorn forges a beautiful link to Black Moon Lilith. But Black Moon Lilith for you is in your 4th house. So that's very much about home, emotion, environment. Maybe getting near the sea or a river or a lake could be very pleasing to the senses, particularly if you're going for a walk with someone that you're just getting to know. If you're more all in with somebody, I feel that Black Moon Lilith in the 4th house means that you could be attracted to spending time in a very familiar environment, or perhaps if you are into the arts, that could be a great way to just share some time. But you may need to distill the time you have together. You may need to almost be in a bubble and keep the world out somewhat to really experience the treasure that link will bring. But as the week draws to a close, there is a very powerful link between your ruler Mercury and Pluto. And what makes this, and it's because Mercury's edging towards the end of the sign of Capricorn, but that part of Capricorn is also sub-ruled by Mercury. So if you do need to analyse some paperwork, it could be to do with insurance policies, pensions, perhaps even a will. Maybe you're looking over some papers to do with stocks and shares. Anything like this, your attention to detail can be absolutely astonishing, and you can just arrow in and really assimilate any numbers or the importance or impact that this can have in a very penetrative way. But that prepares you for Mercury bursting into Aquarius on Monday next week. So I can't wait to tell you all about that then. But this is a very complex week in some ways, but it's a week that could bring you some deep affection. It could bring you some hot intimacy. It could bring you some loot. But particularly if you've worked with Pluto and Uranus at a more psychological level, and if you are towards the end of Gemini and can feel the energy of Pluto still in trying to integrate what you need as an individual to your connections to others, I will share some information in one of my short videos about quincunxes to give you a bit more insight around that. For now, take care and goodbye. If you would like to understand the power of personal astrology in your life, if you give me 3 pieces of birth data, of time, date and place, or date and place if you don't know your time, I can produce for you your life roadmap report. This gives you searing insights into the patterns that are played out in your life so far. You also get your 12-month forecast, your transit forecast, within my special package of 30% off, and your free Zodiac, Love, Chinese and Indian booklets for the year ahead for all signs. Please see the link below for more. If you've yet to watch your deep dive year 2024 Zodiac video, please see the link beneath this video.